Travis, we were doing roll call, so I'll just put you in.
Yep, I'm here.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 people that are on Zoom, so we made it to Cron. Awesome. And then for those who have made it a little bit late, you can watch the recording on the GPSA link. So I sent you guys the agenda here. I'm gonna scroll down to, so that you guys can see the agenda. Awesome. Does anyone want to make a motion to approve the agenda?
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
Awesome. Blessing just made a motion. Who would like to second?
Seconded by me.
Awesome. Rebecca seconded. All in favor say aye.
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 All opposed? Abstain? The motion to adopt agenda has passed. Okay, moving on to opening business. The approval of the minutes. You guys should have gotten a link to the YouTube minutes here, so I will pull that up. Once again, I hate hearing my voice, so I will be playing it for a little bit and then go from there. So okay, so here is all of that right there. And then I think the cool thing about YouTube is that there's a transcript that you can download and you can see everything on there visually instead of watching the whole thing. So it makes it easier from there. So who wants to approve the minutes? Make a motion to approve the minutes.
This is Travis. I move to approve the minutes.
Awesome. Travis approves the minutes. Made a motion to approve the minutes. Who wants to?
Seconded by Sarah.
Awesome. Bossarak. All in favor say aye.
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 All opposed? Abstain? Awesome. This motion has passed. So moving on. So right now it's open gallery, media, public comments, anything related to the agenda or not related to the agenda. You have the floor. I give you 5 minutes starting now. Okay. It appears that we do not have any open comments or media, so we're just going to move on to guest speakers. So as of right now, we have 3 guest speakers, but I can also open up to 4. Michelle has made it to the Zoom. Welcome, Michelle. So if you have a couple of words, Michelle, just put on the chat, and I can put you in last minute on the fourth side. I'm giving all the guest speakers 5 minutes to speak. Anything related to the bill or just anything just to introduce themselves. Once they finish, we open to the floor for any questions and comments and concerns. If anything looks good on their bill, someone can make a motion to vote on the bill, and we'll do roll call voting where I will call out each person's name, and they can vote yes or no. Okay, so the first person that has the floor is going to be Hakish, the council chair elect. You have the floor. You have 5 minutes, and starting now.
Thank you, Ansley. And I know it's a finals week coming up and everything, so I won't take much of your time. Thank you for having me today. And since we met just a little over a week ago, like I said, I won't take much time. I'd just like to say that I'm eagerly looking forward to hearing your ideas and thoughts about your expectations from me. And like I said, I'm really planning on those brainstorming sessions early on in the summer so that we all could get together and discuss and talk more about what our individual expectations are from GPSA for the next academic year. I'm really looking forward to working with Michelle and all of you in the next administration. And I will reach out to you with a couple of date and time options so that we could find a date that fits all of our schedules in the summer to maybe have a couple meetings and just get to know each other informally, talk to each other about our ideas, and then get situated for our fall semester. Until then, good luck for your finals, projects, comprehensive exams, qualifying exams, and everything. Thank you so much.
So, perfect. Does anyone have any questions for the council elect? Awesome. Well, thank you so much for attending this meeting. For both Michelle and Aish, this is going to be like something a little bit new that hasn't been done before, where they are going to be shattering to see exactly what we do with the amendments first before it goes to main council, and so they will see and live of what's been presented and how's it going to be so when next year when they start presenting their own amendments, they know exactly what to do. So at least hopefully this is a great learning step for next year. So yeah, going forward, our next guest speaker is Justin. Justin, you have the floor. You have 5 minutes. You can share your screen, or I can show the two bills. It's up to you. Do you want to share your screen?
No, I think you can show them. It's fine. Everyone has them through email too. But yeah,
Okay.
I'm excited to be here and I'm excited to present my bills. And I was looking at Jared's bill here, and I really don't see any conflicts between them. So, but yeah,
Perfect.
I'm kind
So
of excited about this. I think we're gonna have some really great time here. But I do have some comments too. But yeah, I think that's it for now. We'll move on to the discussion or the next guest speaker.
awesome, Jared, you have the floor.
Howdy, everyone. So pretty much read Justin's bill. Just had one quick question about Justin's bill, and then that's about it. I mean, we can save that for discussion. It's nothing major, just a clarification. Other than that, yeah, my bill pretty much just makes Ashisha's job harder. Listening to the constructive criticism from my term and understanding like yes, absolutely, hold them accountable, show up more, do more things. Definitely was under the guise of last year and how I operated things last year, and I did it the same way this year. Obviously, I guess that wasn't the best approach, but now we have it written down. Now for the next council chair, they can definitely handle it the way they see fit. And yeah, that's pretty much I have definition of what council's makeup should look like so that way we can keep it, diverse and, diverse in background and diverse in technical skills. Also enabling online voting so that those that show up online as well in the future can, participate. Because we live a day and an age where, hybrid meetings are, need to be, taken advantage of. And just because they're in person now doesn't necessarily mean that they can't be online too. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have. Council meeting on May 4th. I guess you'll be the first people to tell. It'll be online. I have to go back to Minnesota for a family emergency, so it'll have to be online for then. So, yep, that's all I got.
Perfect. Awesome. Does anyone have any questions? Awesome. Moving on. I see that Michelle is there. So, Michelle, do you have any words before we get started?
Not really. I would just want to reiterate the fact that, I'm looking forward to working with y'all, Ashish, for next coming semester. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome. Perfect. Well, thank you so much, y'all. So let's move on to action items. So, who would like to make a motion to open up the bill 6, Article 6, council stipends? Anyone?
I make a motion to open the bill.
Awesome.
I second it.
Awesome. Perfect. All in favor, say aye.
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 Hi.
All opposed? Abstain? This motion has passed to open up Bill 6. Let me just pull it up here so that we can get started. Okay, Justin, you have the floor.
Okay, yeah, so Bill 6. Yeah, this is something I've kind of been working on a bit here, but so the council, we started doing council stipends apparently the previous year, and we've never done that before. It seems to be it seems to have been a success, and I think keeping that around makes sense. But one problem we do kind of have with it is that the alternates number is currently set to unlimited in bylaws. Keeping it at a limited probably is inappropriate because it makes it impossible for us to budget the stipends for every semester. We do need to get if we are going to pay alternates, then we do need to get that number down to something that is actually finite, something that's normal and reasonable in number. And yeah, that's what this bill is about. It also kind of rearranges some of Article 4, Section 1, but a lot of what it's been rearranged and rebuilt was already there before. It also makes sure that the credit also helps create a more consistent credentialing process for council representatives. And it also helps us basically like standardize what we're doing when it comes to credentialing people and paying people on the council. The stipend number has not been set, nor has the method been. But Jared's bill does actually set the stipend process, which would be 4 out of 5 meetings, I believe. And that can always be changed. I think that makes sense, and also as the possibility of maybe per meeting, but I would leave that to his discretion in that regard. And then it also helps set the apportionment time, because we did have an issue during this February where we reapportion people as the enrollment reports come out. Well, it's really frustrating when RDSA's voting power goes up and down or whatever, depending on the enrollment reports. And because of that, I think it's important that we set that to a clear, definite date, which to me is the previous fall enrollment report. And we just set that for the whole year. But ultimately, I think, and this bill also leaves certified alternates with speaking rights. And as for the amount of certified alternates, all RDSAs would be granted a minimum of 1 or a maximum of 1 per 2 council representatives. So this, like in general, like based upon the math currently today I have here, if this bill was in effect, the maximum amount of money we would have to pay for the council if every RDSA showed up would be $33,000. However, if we don't have this bill, the maximum number would be, where's my calculator here? It would be 5,000 times 300. It'd be like, it'd be 1.5 million. We don't have $1.5 million. So necessarily. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at on that one. Does anyone have any questions for me?
I just have a quick question. So it would be the people that would receive the stipend would be one certified alternate, or how many people after the designated council member would receive the stipend?
It would be a minimum of one certified alternate and a maximum of one certified alternate per two voting representatives.
Okay, so
So currently the law school has three. They would only get one certified alternate. Med school has four representatives. They would get two.
okay,
Those are kind of the break points. And so six. So business school would get three.
okay. So if it was the chemistry department, for example, they would just get two.
Yeah, they would get two. They get their voting
Okay.
representative plus the certified. So
All right. Yeah. Okay, that's good to know. Yeah, LSC, if you guys feel comfortable doing that, then vote yes.
yeah, I do know this is like kind of difficult in a lot of ways, but it's ultimately as is, it's really difficult to budget out for the council stipend because in theory, the maximum certified alternates is over 5,000. So, and that's if we do want to keep paying the certified alternates, which I think is okay because you want your certified alternates to be there and available. That way they can advocate on behalf of the RDSA when the voting member isn't there, if that makes sense. Any further questions?
Yeah,
Yeah.
are the certified alternates subject to the same attendance policy for the stipends?
Yes, they would be. So they would have to attend for the stipend.
And that's enumerated in the bill?
That is not enumerated in this bill, but that is in Jared's bill. It's implied through Jared's bill.
Yeah, in order to be eligible for
Okay.
the stipend is what it says. So that, yeah, technically, yeah, your alternate would have to show up.
Okay.
So
Yeah. Yeah, as long as that's explicitly stated, I think that's okay.
It's not explicitly, but it, like Justin said, I think implied is the right description.
Okay. Could we
We could
tweak it to
when we
where
move to my bill. We can.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say, okay,
Yeah.
yeah, sweet.
I will say one thing, like I kind of wish me and Jared had a bit more time to work on this because I did kind of rearrange how the article looks, but I think procedurally it's fine. The Attorney General can put it in the right bullet points or whatnot.
Right.
It can also be cleaned up next year through a bill, just like kind of rearrange it. That just does it procedurally. Okay, next question I believe was Wilfred.
Yeah.
Yeah, so everything looks good to me, except for the fact that I have two questions. So the first one is, based on what you are proposing, it looks to me that we definitely will have a reduction in the number of members showing up for council meetings, correct?
With current composition of the council, probably. It's one of those things though where
Okay.
I mean we could always change it so the certified alternates don't get paid, but it's one of those things
Okay.
where it's just so difficult to budget for the council right now.
Okay.
Also in my bill too. Sorry to interject. It also, I mean, it might leave, we probably should talk about this too. I do explicitly state that the stipend, I think distribution is up to the discretion of the council chair. So maybe, I don't know if we need to hash this out on if we want to determine that the chair ultimately has the final say on every stipend, or we can, because I think this is a good outline for general guidelines, but leaving it to the ultimate discretion of the council chair is also another thing that could be discussed. So.
Okay, so then in that case, does it mean that we are going to hold on to the passing of this bill? Because this is me trying to play the devil's advocate. And I just want to be convinced that so this stipend came into effect just so we can whip up, people's interest to show up, right? So with the passing of the fee increase, and so if we now want to, so even now without the fee increase, if we are able to sustain the current number, how I want you to sort of convince me how come now that we have the fee, we want to reduce the number. And again, that's me playing the devil's advocate, period. That's it.
Yeah. So I think the real issue here is also the fee increase is projected to raise about $145,000 a year. However, we are still on GA ships, which means every win that the union gets, and it's also projected to raise about 10,000 per year in additional due to the escalator. However, if the union continues to win raises around the 5% mark, that $10,000 escalator per year is just going to be eaten up. Additionally, as I said earlier, it's if like full people accepted alternates, or if we had full certified alternates, that would be potentially up to 5,000 people in council. That's 1.5 million in stipends. We don't have 1.5 million. So I think unlimited as a number is just inappropriate if we are going to pay the certified alternates. So I'm not like against unlimited alternates, but if we are going to pay them, which I think is appropriate if we want them to show up and be well informed as to what's happening, then we should probably pay them, and we should probably limit those certified alternates to a reasonable number that has a reasonable probability of voting.
Yeah,
Y-
and
y-
to
yeah,
build off, sorry, Wilfred, to build off of what Justin's saying too, when I inherited council 2 years ago, we had to pretty much beg people to join. I mean, we had to do something unprecedented, such as paying council members, which I mean should have been done a long time ago. But now that GPSA, is really starting to build and get a lot stronger, I think Justin's bill is pretty reasonable in inquiring that now that we do have a solid foundation to stand upon. I think we should take this risk to one, put it on the next council chair and president to increase the number of RDSAs that we have, rather than relying heavily on the foundation that we have currently, which frankly is like what, 8 chemistry students, a couple extra from here and there, and yeah,
I
I
want to say
mean,
it's 13 chemistry students.
yeah, and unfortunately, the chemistry students will get the short end of the stick on this. And you guys have the choice to vote on this now. If you disagree with it completely, that's your choice. But I think now that GPSA is heading in a direction from where it was, which was essentially nothing 2 years ago, I think the ask from what we're giving, which is the stipend, there needs to be a return which results in more diverse, and giving that chance to, even though it might exclude chemistry, it might provide an opportunity for other departments that historically have not been in council.
Yeah, but the problem for me with this is that we still don't even know like specificity in terms of how much we're going to pay council members. So it's just like we are working with probability. So then that's the only difficulty I have with it. But besides that, I'm very okay with that. Yeah.
I mean, I will say I did put down that the stipend should be a reasonable number, which to me, a reasonable number would cover, I think I put down it would cover like time and parking in the bill. It's one of those things where what is a reasonable number varies. I also put down like financial constraints on GPSA at the time. So we do have some criteria for determining how much the stipend should be. I think in general, though, that's kind of where it's at, because I didn't want to like really take away and hardwire a number into it for this, because it's always difficult when you hardwire a number in and then you don't have the budget to do it or something like that. Any other further questions, Wilfred?
No, I'm okay.
Travis?
Yeah, I'll play devil's advocate to Wilfred's devil's advocate, I guess. And sorry, I'm walking across Central, so that's the motorcycle noise in the background. But I really don't think this will limit the number of people in council. If anything, I think it creates a more structured council where we can build a larger council and a more like equally represented council, you know? Like we're basing this off of enrollment numbers. We're giving people at least one alternate. That's great. The alternate's not even really there to like represent students necessarily, because the council members should do that in the first place. The alternate is there as a backup. And you know, it's not like the US government has alternate senators, right? Like, yeah, I'm sure there's some process in place where senators can have proxies, but you never get to elect an alternate senator to represent your state. So I think we're already going above and beyond by giving alternates. I think that this just allows a mechanism in place to have other people vote. And the other thing is, you know, if a department wants to have more representation on council unofficially, they can bring the whole department to the meeting if they want to. You know, you could bring 50 chemistry students to the meeting to all stand up and speak for how the chemistry department feels. And then you still only get one vote because you don't have as many students as the law school, but you can bring all those people to still advocate in person to the meetings if you want. This doesn't limit who can come to council. It just limits who can vote. So, you know, to me, it seems pretty fair. And I don't think it restrains council or, you know, shrinks it at all.
Clarified, Travis, it doesn't limit who votes, it limits who gets paid.
Well, but yeah, I guess that's true. I mean, I know that's the primary point, but it's also enumerating who can vote.
Yeah, that too.
Right. But yeah, I know the primary purpose is money, which I think is great, and I think that's, you know, necessary. But
yeah, I would
then,
say if it does limit anything, I mean, technically it limits council speaking rights because only certified alternates can speak during the council discussion items. However, non-certified alternates can always speak during public comment. However, that is going to help kind of move the meetings along a little bit faster, at least temporarily. But this does create the incentive for the council chair to go out and reactivate all these RDSAs that disappeared during COVID. And ultimately, that's going to slow it back down again when that happens. So it's one of those things where it's kind of a little bit of rebalancing, I guess, to some level. But I think it's pretty reasonable. I also taught, and it will actually give us a pretty clear idea as to like, because frankly, one of the most annoying things was the whole rebalancing of the council during February. I don't want to deal with that. That doesn't work for me. That doesn't work for GPSA. That doesn't work for council. So basing it on the fall enrollment report gives us a clear number, definite amount, and we have a definite amount of certified alternates. So now we can actually come up with some clear numbers as to how much we should be paying at maximum and budgeting.
yeah, I think that's great.
Yeah.
I had another question.
Yes.
Is there any penalty for not having an alternate? Like if a
No.
department just doesn't choose one or can't choose one or nobody volunteers?
No, you can not have an alternate. However, you can always have a proxy. The way in which I conceptualize most departments doing their elections for council representatives is people sign up to run. Let's say you have one vote on council. Person with the most votes gets the vote, gets the voting position. Person runner up gets the certified alternate position. That's how I conceptualize people would do it down, or would actually do this and work on it down below. As for if that actually pans out that way, it's kind of weird. Some of the departments with a lot of GPSA reps tend to do things differently and randomly, such as education or the law school. Like the law school is like they hold like one in reserve for the 1L class that hasn't come yet, and they do an election in the fall, for example. Any further questions?
Cool. Thanks.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, what we could do is we can vote on this bill, or we can block vote all the bills together. So,
yeah, they're protesting.
Does anyone want to make a motion to
Like their drum.
Vote on this bill?
I would like to briefly talk about Jared's bill and the other bill too, though. If we want to,
Okay. Yeah, let's then do that then. So let's hang on to this and then let me move on to the next So, who would like to make a motion to open up Bill 7?
So moved.
Awesome. Who said that?
Travis.
Awesome. Hi, thank you, Travis. Who would like to
Are we
second?
echoing?
Yeah, sorry.
Who would like to second?
Seconded.
Awesome. Blessing second, and so all in favor says aye.
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 All opposed? Abstained? Okay, moving on to the next bill. Let me try to bring it up. I don't know why it's not opening, because I don't have it open. Okay, you still have the flow, Justin.
Okay, yeah, this bill, incredibly uncontroversial. It basically makes it makes the financial disclosure require it makes it a financial disclosure requirement in the bylaws. It puts it in there. Currently as is currently as is, GPSA has been disclosing the financial reports occasionally. Banks admin didn't do it on his way out from the looks of the website. I had a huge issue when trying to come up with information for the fee increase because I didn't have access to the actuals and I had to go get those made from SGAO. I also had to figure out what the previous budget was, the difference. The way this would work is after the budget is approved for the next year's approved at the end of the year, that budget would be posted on the website. And then after the actuals for that year come out, that would also be posted on the website. This would increase our financial transparency. All the presidential candidates were in favor of this. I think Wilbur was said this first, and all the other ones were like, "Oh yeah, that's a great idea." And I was like, "Yeah, this is a great idea. This would have saved me so much time and energy." So yeah, any questions? Travis?
Are we required to, if people ask us for financials during the year, are we required to give?
Travis, I can't hear you.
Oh.
Oh,
I asked if student ask in the middle of the year for financials, are we required to give that to them?
the answer would be if they IPRA'd us, yes. As for if we would be required, I feel like we would. I'm sure there's some university policy that probably says yes. I don't really know if there is though, but it's one of those things where we want to increase our transparency to the students anyway. So might as well put in the bylaws. That way people are reminded and know it's something they have to do on their way out because the previous years weren't posted. And going through the website, there were many years before that were posted. At least the budgets, the actuals were not. So I think it's important that we post the budget and the actuals at the end of that fiscal year.
Thanks.
Is there a section through the website where people can look at the annual report?
Yeah, let me find it. It's kind of hidden away.
Uh-oh.
In a really dumb place. Let me find it. It was like
So that's probably one of
it's
the
like
things
it's I think it's about it's like gpsa.unm.edu and about and I think I want to say it's annual report. No, let me find it here. That might not be it. I found it like recently. It was really it could be less hidden when I looked at it. Let me see here. Student
annual reports. Okay, so about an GPSA annual reports.
I think so. I would have to take a look here though, because I found it. It was really hidden. It wasn't really bright. I feel like
I'm sharing my screen. from
Yeah,
there if
there's,
you see.
but yeah, I think like the website could probably use a little bit more work next year
Okay.
to try and make like probably one more tab that's like finances or something.
Okay, cool.
Because like funding and finances are like slightly different in the way we use them. Just to add some specificity.
And would the PR do this next year, or is it gonna be be like a altogether togetherness with the council or council and the president?
I'm not sure who would do it. I think it would probably make sense for the finance chair to do it because the finance chair does have access to all the budgets that are being drafted.
Okay.
So he or she could at least do that part. As for collecting the actuals from SGAO, anyone can do that at the end of the academic year. Actually, that would have to be like the next president or the next finance chair.
Okay.
So you like post the actuals in like August or something. You post the budget in like April, the upcoming budget, and then like for the next fiscal year, and then you'd post the actuals the previous year in August.
Uh-huh.
So I think that's like how that would go. And I think this would also give us a bit better data as to like advocate for like what we do and how much we spend and stuff.
Okay.
Becca?
Yeah, so I wanted to be sure I heard Travis' last question properly or clearly. Was he asking if like student or student groups could like during the semester request for like the GPSA's budget or financial report? Was that what he was asking?
I believe so. I don't want to answer on his behalf though.
Yes, it was basically like this year during the election. A lot of folks asked, or during the fee increase, a lot of people asked me why we were increasing the fees, and I was able to tell them, but I wasn't able to articulate the monetary amount that we were actually like using those fees for, and that's really helpful if we're ever asking for fees or a student wants to know, well, what good does GPSA do for me? Why am I paying this money? Well, we can show them these financials. And so I thought maybe in this bill, it would be nice to put something in there requiring us to disclose those financials more frequently than just once at the end of the year. But based on what Justin said, I don't think we need to do that. I think that, like he said, every administration should be pretty amicable and friendly to just giving students our financial information because it's public record anyway. We're a public organization. We serve the state. We're at a state university. So I think it's kind of redundant to put something in there saying that we have to give our financials up when we will probably just do it anyway.
Okay, I just wanted to be sure I heard it clearly. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. And I agree totally with what you said. As long as it's publicly available or would be made available. And maybe, I don't know, since it's kind of like redundant to include it, but if it's to be included, I would say to also include a procedure. So you don't get to come and ask us for like a report today and expect that you get it today. But that people should know that there should be a time frame. I've worked with something on freedom of information before where there's like a guideline for how you request for information and the timeline of response. So the timeline will be 7 days after the person requested. By 7 days, they should get a notification on what it is. If you need extra time to put it together, they should know that this is what would happen. So people know that they can not only can they access information, but they know how long it will take for them to get that information.
Yeah, and I think, like Justin said, we and the university and us as an entity of the university are bound by some sort of language that states that already.
Yeah, I'm certain we're bound by IFRA. As for if we're bound by university policy, that's a weird legal question based on the state constitution. That it's actually we actually exist in the New Mexico state constitution as an entity. As for what that means, I don't know. At least implicitly, we exist. But yeah, I think just making sure we have these ready to disclose and we make sure that we post our budget once it's drafted at the end of the year makes sense, and then posting the actuals at the next year makes sense. So
Does anyone have any questions about this bill? There's none. We're going to be moving on to the next action item, and that's opening up action the bill 8. Who would like to make a motion to open it?
This is Travis, so moved.
Awesome. Travis,
Seconded.
motion. Blessing seconded. All in favor say aye.
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 All opposed? Abstain. Motion has passed. Jared, you have the floor.
Thanks. Go ahead and scroll down. I think I highlighted everything. So it makes
Okay.
life easier.
Shall
Go
I
ahead,
keep
skip
going?
that one. Yeah, so this is the eligibility to earn the stipend. This is where we can have that discussion on about ultimately who has the power to distribute the stipends. Should we just leave it to the bylaws, or should we leave it to the discretion of the council chair? Frankly, that's probably the only way I would say that Justin and I's bill collide. Yeah, that's we can explicitly change this or not explicitly, however you guys you want to. You're the LSC. Let's see. Yeah, so credentialed before the second general council meeting, that just means that's the only way to get it done. It's not because it's difficult, it's just the process. Every time we've had to do the stipends, they've had to be submitted before the break. So either fall break or spring break. If they're submitted later, we all saw how that went, or well, I think just Rebecca, myself, Ainsley all saw how that went. Wilfred, I think you saw how that went. It doesn't work unless it's done before the break. Uh, so then must attend 4 out of the 5 council meetings, like I said, by the second. So if you don't make the first one in August, you can make the second. Must participate in the meetings through voting. So like after we look through the voting and we see that you were there, but you didn't vote throughout, then it's not going to count as your attendance, because like if you're on Zoom and then you didn't vote for the important legislative, you're not really contributing, and then you're leading the council chair to assume that you just logged into the meeting and zoomed out. And then also the camera on attending virtually. Redundancy is good when it comes to ensuring that you're here and ready to participate, especially now that, the first 2 years I was pretty lenient, but Ashish should have some sort of what is the word? Constructed, I guess, construction and towards the bill and how to approach this since we're passing it off. And then must collaborate with GPSA council members to produce legislation. Again, you could all work on together on a resolution or passing a bill, something to contribute more so than just showing up on a Zoom meeting potentially with a blank screen. So yeah, that's that. We'll take comments and questions on this part before we move to the next.
I got a comment or like a advice probably to add one more thing. Probably them a council member should at least volunteer one event. Just so that since we have multiple events going on over the semester, it would be nice to see more student activity, especially through council, to at least volunteer to like Club 89 or any other events that we have have available. And hopefully this could be a good way to segregate the PR that next year to at least start planning ahead and give students a list of what they could volunteer over that semester. So that could also be a good segue to get more student involvement. That's just my comment, and I give my time.
I think that's a good approach. Granted, I feel like these, these 5 I've already listed. It's asking a lot, especially having the camera on and 4 out of the 5 meetings. I mean, we could definitely add it and see how it goes, but that might be at the tipping point, in my opinion, on what a council member is willing to do. Because that includes, because if we let's say the stipend's $100, it's $20 in a meeting per semester, and let's assume that there's the meetings are an hour. So that's
Mhm.
$20 an hour that you're getting paid. And then you just realize on top of that you have to volunteer 3 or 4 hours planning an event. Then at that point it gets kind of below that $20 per hour mark that we set. And that's when I become a little hesitant. But I think these are 5 simple things that we can do. Collaborate on a GPSA council is usually probably just one person, working on it and having several other people, put their 2 cents in and building something together. And I think that would be very beneficial. So yeah, that's that answer to that question. Go ahead, Travis.
What if we do a compromise and say must collaborate with other GPSA council members to produce at least one piece of legislation, or must attend at least one GPSA event per semester?
That's
You can either choose to
I'm
help with
fine with that.
legislation, or you can come to an event. But I feel like, because like maybe you're a council member that is scared of legislation, or you just don't feel like there needs to be. But you should still show that you're involved somehow, and that's come to a Club 89, come to an open forum, come to the presidential candidates forum, like, come to a sustainability event, I don't care. Something like that.
Yeah, I mean, how would you word that? Must collaborate with other to produce legislation and
To
or
produce at least one piece of legislation, or attend at least one GPSA event
okay.
per semester.
Hey Travis, can you put that in the group chat?
Sure, yeah, I can just do that. It's better.
Oh, I'm typing it right now too. Here's some over attend. Yeah.
If I may, please.
Go ahead, Wilfred.
Yes. So I want to believe that as human beings we respond to incentives. And so if in fact we discussed this thing about the volunteerism in our previous meeting, not knowing that we're going to have a bill that is kind of trying to regulate stipends. So my suggestion would be that if we want people to, really show up to our programs, volunteer and all of that, then we need to incentivize them, because the Latin people will say, qui motum datum motum expectatum, to whom much is given, much is expected. And so that will be my suggestion in that sense. So let's make sure that we are giving people incentives for them to really also work their ass out. And then the second bit is about people helping to, produce at least a legislation. So in my memo that I sent to the president, one of my recommendations is that the AG, because the way the bylaws is set, is that the AG has to have an eye over all the bills, even before it comes to LSC and then it moves to council, right? So that, because that's really, essentially, that's what the AG is supposed to do. So I recommend that the next AG, maybe during the gallery, like the place where you can have comments, the AG can then leverage that session to sort of at least walk people through basically what you need to do if you want to sponsor a bill, because I can tell you from my experience that it's not that simple. It's really some kind of work. So at least if people are privy to what needs to be done in producing legislation, that will really help. So in doing so, the AG must be really involved in that sense. Thank you.
Thank you, Wilfred. Go ahead, Becca.
Yeah, so I kind of have a suggestion that I think might help with the determining what the stipend amount would be, what the meetings would look like, and all that. So you know how like the finance committee has like standing rules that is set like every semester based on the group of people coming to work together. So I was
Yeah.
thinking that for those parts where we cannot like be specific or we can't like be very precise, can we have room where there's like standing rules set by the council chair and maybe the members that will determine how council will be run, like those parts where we can't like be exact. So this year now, the group of people, depending on how things run and maybe the turnout, take for instance, we only have 5 people showing up for council meetings based on XYZ, then we are trying to like modulate things to work. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say, but I think that having standing rules might kind of like help in some sort of way.
Okay, yeah, I think we passed. I'm unsure if you know, but we did pass standing rules of first council meeting back in August. Did I ever reference them and go back to them after that? Not really, because it wasn't. But I think that's seeing what you're saying. I think maybe if we do before every council meeting, maybe something to bring up is talking about how much the stipend should be and making that determination. Because I think by the time the first meeting happens, assuming the council chair and the president are working over the summer a little bit, they'd have an understanding of the budget and how much can be allocated. Actually, there's kind of a decent idea already since the budgets have been made of how much can be allocated. So I think, yeah, that'd be a good idea. Maybe finding some sort of way to write that into the legislation to say, hey, we should put this in the standing rules.
I will also say that this is a bit of a process and more of an art. And I suspect that this is something that Ashish and Michelle might want to come back to next semester too. Like modify if it's not working. This can always be changed. So, you know.
So then, going back to line item, was it
68.
is it 68?
Mhm.
Does anyone want to make a motion to change that, or should we just leave that alone?
Yeah, I mean, I'll make a motion to change it to what I put in the chat or what Jared had in the chat.
Okay.
Let's do
Who
Travis, what Travis wrote.
Let's do Travis vote. Okay, who would like to second?
Seconded.
Awesome. All in favor, say aye.
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 Hi.
Aye.
All opposed? Abstain? This motion has passed to change line item 68. So maybe.
I will say the only thing that really conflicts with my bill and Jared's bill is line 59 here. However, if I remember correctly, me and Jared actually worked on line 59, and they're like substantively very similar. So I don't know if we want to like, so his line 59 and my line 71.
I personally, I think they're fine individually standing alone. I mean, they and staying unchanged. You know, you're saying it's determined by the budgeting process, which is good. Go over budget or under budget, and want to accurately, stipend our representatives and alternates based on inflation and everything like that. It's up to the discretion of the council chair. I think that's also fine. And then Justin's bill says that it's reasonable, which is also good.
Yeah, actually, that doesn't actually conflict. Never mind. I am incorrect. So we can just have both those there, work out together. Yeah.
Does anyone have any questions relating to Bill 8? Comments
Yeah,
or
I
concerns?
got one final question. Sorry. line 98, that's A.4.B. There should be members from 9 out of the 14 departments. Does this just mean that, I guess I'm confused. Does this mean that the council chair should do their best job to get members of 9 from 14 departments? Because if so, I think we should say there's been members from 14 out of the 14 departments. You know, they should try for every single one. Or is this saying that we will not be able to hold council meetings unless there are members of 9 from the 14 departments? In which case, I think that might also be bad, because what if we try our darndest and we just can't get people to join? You know?
Are we still, do we moved on?
No. Travis had a question. I could not. Travis, can you repeat that again? One more
No, it
time.
sounds like we're talking about the next part of the bill.
Sorry. Yeah, I think we had, from my understanding, we had moved on from lines 57 to 68 because we had edited
Okay.
68, and then Ansley gave an opportunity for anybody else to have other questions.
Yeah.
And
Does
then-
anyone have any questions on?
Sure, yeah, that's more of like what Justin said. It's more of a test run, right? It's encouraged to get at least 9. I think based on everybody that's credentialed, right? Yeah, it's hard. It without a doubt, it's hard. But I think having those set in place as maybe the first litmus test, and then determining from there where the best way to go. Like, do we need to be more, I like how there's chemistry. Do we need to be more acidic, or do we need to be more basic? Do we need to be more acidic and add more RDSAs, or do we need to be more basic and add less RDSAs? And then based on there, Sheesh could probably, you know, make his best judgment. And yeah, I think 9 is a good starting point. I think 9 is how many we had mostly at a given council. I think it was anywhere between 6 to 9 different RDSAs. And not RDSAs, 6 to 9 different departments, which is different than RDSAs. So I think we can range around there. I think that's great. If it's too difficult of something to me, and let's say someone from council wants to abuse it and like try to go after a Sheesh for not meeting 9, then obviously I recommend he change it. But yeah, I just think it's a good way to start and really have something written down that's tangible and a good guidance to go off of for the future.
Justin, you have a question?
Comments and questions, since we've moved on to, if we're gonna do that, I think we should go to line 94 here.
Yeah.
And we should probably change that shall from a mandatory to something discretionary, such as should.
So, someone from LSC, make a motion to change line item 93.
I make a motion to change line item 93.
Awesome. Who was second? That's the person that made a motion.
95, sorry.
95.
Yeah, sorry, that's where the should be.
Well, I mean, I think you do want to make it mandatory that the council chair appoints representatives to the LSC in accordance with the bylaws. That should be mandatory, absolutely. I think it's A, B, C, and D that we don't want to be mandatory. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
94, 95, that should definitely happen 100%. So it's good that that's in there as shall, because if the council chair doesn't, then somebody should be able to be like, hey, this is your job description and you're not doing that. A, B, C, and D being discretionary, I think is great. I think they sound discretionary as they are. My question was just like, is item B, is that a goal or is that a requirement? If you guys say that it's a goal, then yeah, I think it's a good goal to have.
Yeah, I'd say it's a goal. I think it's a test. It's a test run because I mean, I don't know if you were there, but we had, I think 2 or 3 meetings where we had prolonged discussions about council and people talking about why we should have all 76 RDSA members in council right now in this instant. Whereas this is my recommendation based on my experience, what I think would work best. Diversity, background, and degree program, obviously the two most important things for to account for everybody, in my opinion. The 14, 9 out of the 14 actual number that dictates what the diversity means. And then there should be members from different backgrounds included, not all of that. And then 20 to 40 credentialed members. Again, this would help maintain the stipends sustainability over the long term, because I think 40 would be the cap, what we're at right now when it comes to terms of paying people. And then also 20 to 40, if we're comparing it to ASU&M, I think has 20, Michelle, you were in ASU&M, correct me if I'm wrong, but they have 20 to 25 members and about 16,000 constituents. So we as council, let's say our last meeting, we had 22 members there, and well, 22 people were there, and then we only have what, 5,000 to 6,000 constituents. So we're still representing our body sufficiently when we're at 22 people. If we were to get to 40, we would double that, and that would be even better. But I think based on numbers of how many people we represent versus our constituents, I think we're at a very good ratio compared to other governments. So go ahead, Justin.
Yeah, ASU&M has about 24,000 students right now.
24,000. So then
24,000. They have 25 senators, from what I understand.
So they have one for every 1,000, or we have one for every.
Well, if we had like full
300.
alternates and everything, it would be like one for every 50. Which we currently, so like at our peak, we'll have about 5,400 students, maybe 5,600 in the next 3 years or so. After that, we'll probably go downhill for about 4 years because people stopped having kids between 2008 to 2012, something about the economy imploding. But then we'll go back up again. But yeah, I think, but looking at this, I do see it says should on all of them. So I think that's good. Overall, this seems like really great. But yeah, but you also, yeah, I think that would be good.
All right, cool. Let's go ahead and scroll down to the next part then. Easy.
So then, since there's already been a motion, should we just vote to scrap that motion off?
The previous one on line whatever, 59
It was
was it?
line 55, and yeah, 95.
I recommend you do a vote to get it changed and get that vote approved, and then we'll move forward to the next part after that.
Okay, so then, since it's already been seconded, let's vote. So who would, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All oppose?
Hey,
All oppose?
I guess everybody's tuned out.
We need about a couple more people to vote.
Ainsley, if I were you, I would just
one.
do a roll call vote.
Okay, so then, I'll just will call your name, and you can say aye for yes, nay for no, or abstain, meaning you're in the middle, so you're not gonna vote.
Because we probably got to remind people what we're voting on.
So let's just start with Travis. Travis,
Oh, Ainsley, go to line 55 and tell people what was changed. Okay, 59 it was. Or 50, 68, 68, line 68.
Wait, 68 we approved, I thought.
Did we approve that already?
Yeah,
was
we
because
already
we
approved
made
that.
a
It was
motion.
9. It was 9 item 59, 50, no, 95.
94. Yeah,
95.
and somebody
Because
made a
you
motion
wanted
and
to
then somebody
change
seconded
the-
it, and then we decided not to do it. So now we're trying to vote
Okay,
not do it.
my bad. Yeah,
Yeah,
just
you're good.
Okay, so
well,
Travis,
Again, the rest of LSC, if you vote yes, it means we are changing the verbiage in line 94 and 95 to be discretionary. If you vote nay, it means we are not changing it. Vote nay.
And that's changing the shall to should.
Right. I vote nay.
Okay. Monziak, okay, I'm gonna, Bonziak. Okay, I'll be skipping you, Bonziak. Rebecca. Rebecca. Blessing.
Yes. Or is it hi?
Hi. Would you vote yes, yes or no on this motion?
Yes.
Okay. Eric.
So just for clarification on the for nay, it says that the council chair shall appoint, right? If I say nay,
Yes.
you leaving it like
Okay.
this, right? Okay, so nay.
Shall. So it's changing the shall to should.
No. So that is for nay or for I?
So if I think since we discussed that we should keep it, I think we're since there's already been an emotion to try to scrap it off and vote nay since it already looks good. But I can't vote.
Nay.
Okay, good.
Nay, it looks
Yeah,
good to
vote
me.
nay to just keep it as
Nay.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, nay.
Shay. Shay. Wilfred. Awesome. Wilfred just commented. Nay, so it passed. Just keep in mind, y'all, just second time, we want to try to make sure that we can get this thing all voted in, just to pay attention from there. So, okay, it's been passed, so let's just move on. Would you like, Jared, you
Yeah,
still
move
have,
on. Yeah.
okay,
Um, yeah, this is making Ashish's job harder. So 5 to 10 office hours in the office based on feedback I've heard about my term that we'll put it in writing that way. And this actually will hold them accountable if they don't. Go ahead and scroll down more. And then required to maintain a professional relationship with the University of New Mexico Grad Workers Union. That's great because Ashish actually told me he wants to make committees throughout council. That was one of his ideas, and he wants to have one that would be like an ambassador liaison to the union. I think that's an excellent idea, and I think this would help him achieve that goal. The next one, council chair must abide by the guidelines. Those are the things we talked about earlier about diversity within GPSA council. The council chair is responsible for maintaining distributed LSC council stipends so that if they don't, then they're held responsible. I've showed Ashish already on how to disperse the stipends. If he has any comments or questions when he actually has to do it, in the fall of 2023 or 2024, he has my cell. He can call me and I'm more than willing to help him. And then must pass at least one piece of legislation per semester. This one I think is a little bit different. It is the council chair. You do need to produce some sort of tangible piece of paper. Ainsley, I can see your messages right now.
Sorry.
And then 14, the council chair must be in person for hybrid meetings. This is, I think, a great thing to move forward to, kind of like how I did it the first semester. Hopefully, we have more people showing up in person because I remember when I did it my first term, we'd have like 3 people in person and then we'd have 14 on Zoom, and that was like kind of annoying, especially since I brought Duncan to a lot of the meetings. And then it was sad because one, I found out that that was illegal. I was bringing Duncan to the meetings because you're not supposed to bring outside food to the sub. I learned that one. And then yeah, and then I was stuck with 8 donuts that I gladly ate all of them. So Yeah. Any comments or questions on that? Go ahead, Justin.
Yeah, I actually really like this. I also really like the whole working with the graduate workers union because one of the issues I encountered while lobbying, and it's really important that even the president has some communication with the graduate workers union, was frankly the senators and the House representatives. They're easily confused. They just hear graduate student. That's all they hear. They get us confused with the grad workers union, and the grad workers union confused with us. When lobbying, it's going to be important that GPSA and the grad workers union kind of have their own distinct messages for what they want and what they are asking for. I imagine next year GPSA is going to ask for graduate scholarship act, something kind of opportunity scholarship. The graduate workers union is once again going to ask for pay raises. So making sure our wires don't get crossed there, and also making sure we can amplify each other's messages, right, is really important. So yeah, that's all I have to say.
Awesome. Any more comments or questions? All right, go ahead and scroll down. Easy.
Want me to stop?
When you see the highlighting. So go as fast as you want until you see the highlighting. There we go. So this is mandatory all meet. Okay, so this is to make sure that all meetings are held in a hybrid setting. Again, it is in the bylaws, can be changed if we have a repeat of my first term where there's 3 people in person, 15 people over Zoom. And I hope that doesn't happen. And I do feel hesitant to just making the meetings only in person because then I think that actually makes them inaccessible to everybody. And then that's crossing a line in my mind. So go ahead. Any comments, questions on this? Nope. All right, next one. All right, right there, the council. This has never been done in practice. So if they want to keep a list, great. If there already is a list through emails, so you can have a list through your emails if you really want to actually enforce this. But yeah, it's pointless, not useful in my opinion. The legislative committee chair reports shall be given once per year. So this is pretty much LSC chair, right? I don't think they should have to form a report. If they want to, great. If not, whatever. That's just removing that requirement from them. And then the online voting. Okay, so voting online during hybrid meetings is allowed and must follow this procedure. Camera must be on during the meeting. That's also a requirement for the meetings anyway, so it shouldn't be hard. The voter, election director, and election committee must provide a breakout room for each online voter, so that allows for anonymity and the opportunity for the voter to prove their identity. So the voter will prove their identity by having their voter show their UNMID. That's your identification. To 1, show that you're a student, and 2, if you're if you're credentialed, we can already have your information and already can verify you're a graduate student, everything like that. We just need to see a picture with your name on it that also compares you to, so up to the discretion of the election director is okay with an ID or anything, but if you're credentialed, we verify your credential and your everything like that. I think this actually just further proves that you are who you say you are when it comes to voting. And you don't have a repeat or anybody trying to detest the election or, yeah.
So
And then after
so how would that work in terms of like for the election? Will it be first the in-person election, then the election chair will go to a different room and get all the votes that are on Zoom?
well, how I would recommend you do it is so let's just say it's you and I would say, hi, I'm Jared. I'm in part of chemical engineering, and this is my ID. And this is, oh wow. So let me not blur my camera. So this is how can you guys tell it all or no? Test it out.
I could see. I think what we should probably do is like send out a photocopy of like they send out a picture copy of the ID and just to
Well,
verify something like that. Well, can you put it a little bit closer to your camera? perfect. I could see it.
Looks good to me.
Well,
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we can try that for now, but also one, you need to just be at your computer with a working camera. If you're at your phone or anything like that, that might be more difficult. And then yeah, so I recommend yeah, the election committee, when he's doing the votes, he has a pair of headphones on. So when it comes to talking with them, he said, cast your ballot, who do you pick? And then they say that. And yeah, that's how I would recommend doing it. Go ahead, Justin.
yeah. Okay, here's my question. Why don't we just do this like the presidential election, but we set it so that IT only sends the votes to the eligible council members? Actually, I mean, I guess that would be a bit difficult with the alternates, but it would be
Yeah,
like
that
one of
would
those things.
be.
Because that's my only concern is the alternate situation, I guess, in the proxy situation, because IT can't manually adjust for that, but without like the elections committee actually looking at who casted what vote for what person. However, I do think maybe, I don't know.
Eric, how do
Actually, I
you
can't
think
come up
this
with a
would
better
pan
idea.
out? If you were to do this, how do you think it would pan out for you?
Gerald, are you talking to me?
Yeah, yeah. So read this quickly and then tell me
Yeah,
in practice if that would be feasible to you.
yeah. I think it will be very feasible to me for the voters to just like bring his or ID card close to the camera for me to verify him or her. I think it will work well than sending the names of credentialed members to IT. You know, maybe the voter may not be able to vote at that particular time that we're having the election. So having it in real time during the election period for a voter to come online, show the election director the ID card there, I think it will be feasible.
Yeah. And then there's also another
That's just my opinion.
safeguard where you can't access a UNM Zoom meeting unless you have a Zoom account through UNM. So there's another safeguard, which has to be your net ID, which
Yeah.
unless you're sharing your net ID with somebody else, which you shouldn't be, then they could vote in your stead, but then you have the camera on to prevent that sort of thing. I think the only other thing I could think of that we would add to this is failure to comply to any of these items would result in a invalid cast or invalid ballot. So go ahead, Justin.
Okay, I thought this through really long and hard here, about a minute. The only way I could figure out to do an internet version of this, an e-version, would be the certified vote or the voting representatives are sent a ballot that's active for 24 hours. And it will have, like, say, you'll have candidate what A and B, and then it'll have, say, abstain. And then that ballot closes. And for all the ones that did not fill it out, it would then send to the next set of alternates. But that's like two steps, and then you'd have to compile them together over 48 hours. But that would be a bit different, but I don't know. Then again, this is also an experiment, and if this goes wrong next year, you guys can fix it. So
Yeah, I think that would be great too, but I wonder, I guess yeah, it could work. It could work that way too. I mean, I don't necessarily know how somebody could get access to someone else's email and then like cast a ballot for them or something like that, but yeah. This is kind of like the way I chose to do this is the most similar to if they were in person. And but since you can't physically cast it in a ballot, you can tell the next best thing, which is the elections director.
well, one thing I do kind of like about this is that in theory, both like if you have the elections committee, let's say it was Eric and Shay again, Shay could do the online voting and Eric could do the in-person balloting.
Mhm.
So you could kind of do both at once. However, the online version I just thought of, it's like 48 hours or so. I don't know. This is definitely a bit of an experiment. So yeah, I'm okay with letting them experiment.
Yeah, and the only thing I could think of too is not accusing a CA of doing anything, but unless CA wanted to manipulate the online vote, then that would be a potential breach for this kind of election, but I don't foresee that happening.
Yeah,
That would
yeah,
be kind
in
of
that
like, it'd be
in
crazy.
that yeah, Gerald, I understand. I understand your concern. So in that case, we may have probably two persons doing the online votes, online voting. Because
Yeah.
the election committee consists of the election director and two other members. So two other members can be doing online voting while the election director will be doing the in person. In that, doing it that way may just douse the suspicion of manipulating the vote by any of the committee members.
I like
Okay.
that.
Proposing another crazy alternate way. What if the council chair voting was just open for 4 days and the ballot box was kept guard by the office assistant or Ryan, and the council members could come in and vote as they please over 4 days. But then again, I think I don't know. There's a lot of ways to do this, so I'm okay with just picking one.
That's not a bad idea. The only thing is I would really screw the elections director over. They'd have to be in the GPSA office for 10 hours a day, probably for 4 days. But yeah, I mean, if there's no additional advice, or the committee could break it up, each one 10 hours, 3 members, 4 members, 10 hours, each one takes a day. But yeah, that's it. That's all I got. So I recommend someone move to block vote on all 3 of the bills, and then Ainsley can do a roll call from there.
So moved. We've discussed them sufficiently. They all sound good to me.
Perfect. So Travis just made a motion to block vote all 3 votes.
Seconded by me.
Perfect. Seconded by Eric. So I will block vote. Starting with you, Eric. Did I get? Yeah. You can vote yes, nay, abstain.
Yeah, aye. Yes. Aye.
Awesome. Bonziak. Rebecca. Rebecca. Blessing.
Yes.
Okay. Say. Say. Travis.
Aye.
Wilfred. Wilfred.
I think he already left.
He already left. Okay. So currently the bill cannot pass. We only have 3 votes.
God. Can we do we call Wilfred? Can we call Wilfred? How many votes do we need? 6?
We need 5.
Probably we should just maybe we could just send a call across to.
Because we have
Fred.
we need Rebecca's vote. She's on here. Saeed is on here. And those are the 2, and we're good to go. So Bonzak never didn't apply. And so we're missing. Saeed's not there. Saeed's on, but it's on mute.
Does anybody have people's number?
Yeah, let me call. Oh, Blessing, can you call Becca?
I'm calling Becca right now.
Okay.
I'm calling Saeed.
Anybody have Wilfred's number?
I do. I can call him.
He didn't pick up for me, so someone else wants to call.
Oh, hi, Jared.
Hey, Becca. So could you vote yes to block vote on these, por favor? We're just block voting right now, so unless you want to vote now, that's cool too. But
Okay, you're on speaker.
Oh, sorry. I thought I didn't know I was muted. Yes.
Okay,
so
how
now we
about
just
you,
need one more.
Wilfred? Okay, would you vote yes, nay, or abstain? For we're block voting all three votes, all three bills. I vote for. Okay. Okay, the bill passed a bill passed to block all three. So we are good to go. Thank you so much, Wilfred.
Okay, sure, thanks, bye.
Okay, so I'm gonna stop sharing the screen here. Thank you so much for being patient, you all. Okay, so moving on to officer reports, I really don't have that much to say other than thank you so much for attending all of these meetings. Congratulations to all of those that won the GPSA awards. These past couple of days, I was there for a little bit, and then I had an emergency call, reading stuff, so made a little bit extra money. Yay. But again, congratulations. Again, one more congratulations to Ashish and also Michelle for winning both president and council chair. I hope that I could work with you all next year, as I still have 3 more years left, unfortunately, but I'm gonna make the most out of it. And reach out to Hashish if you guys still want to still continue with LLC. I will still be around on council for a little bit, but going forward, I hopefully hope that I could put in my amazing volunteer hands to GPSA again. So hopefully see you guys then. But again, definitely would like to thank all of you, and especially Jared, for guiding me throughout this whole year. Thank you so much, Travis, for everything. Rebecca, Wilfred, Saeed, Julie, Bonziak, Blessing, Eric. If I didn't call your name, I'm so sorry. I think I got everyone's name. But thank you, thank you, thank you. And you guys, I hope you guys semester goes well, and I hope to see you guys on council. So that's about it for me. But thank you, thank you. Does anyone have any comments, concerns, questions?
Andy, you did a great job.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
nice
Awesome
job.
term, man.
Thank you, thank you.
You are done. You are free.
And also thank you so much, Justin, for everything. To I do have your gift, Justin, Jared, and Travis. So I'll drop it off at the office here. But good luck, Justin, with your taking the bar exam. I hope you do well. And yeah,
I'm gonna sue lots of people, especially especially those that make faulty products that accidentally kill other people. You know, when you buy something, it shouldn't kill you. Controversial opinion.
we should sue PNM right there, raising up our bills. Um, let's see here, finance. I think Eric, do you have anything to say for finance? Because I did explain because you were absent at the last meeting, but I did explain everything. From there, we didn't
Yeah,
have any other meeting, but you're more than welcome
not
to.
nothing much. Just
Okay.
that we had the last finance meeting on the 12th of April, where we disbursed, I think, about $1,000 to two groups, if I'm not mistaken.
Mhm.
And we did a budget revision for one of the group, I think HESO. That's about it. Nothing much on finance. And that was the last finance meeting, August 12th.
Okay, perfect. Sustainability,
Yeah.
Travis. Do you have anything else to say before we adjourn?
Yeah, two quick things. Today, earlier was the open forum for the new unit food vendor, but I didn't get any emails about it until today, so I couldn't send that to council. And there were A-frames posted in the sub, but I forgot to send out anything before. So sorry, folks, that's on me. And then we had the Sustainability Expo last week. It went really well. We had a lot of people show up. We gave away most of our giveaways. So if you're able to stop by, that's great. If not, no worries. It was well attended. We educated a lot of people on proper waste management on campus.
Perfect. Awesome. And kudos to Travis. Travis, you did a wonderful job with the sustainability fair on your part. So that was a good sustainability expo. We had a lot of people. I was there, and so it was awesome. So hopefully we have the same energy next year. Okay, going forward, our upcoming meeting for GPSA is going to be on a Star Wars Day, so you're more than welcome to dress up for that. That'll be awesome. I'll be dressed up, so um, and then other than that, this is it. This is our last LSC meeting, so the meeting is adjourned at 8:10. Thank you all so much for coming, and the minutes will be shared here the next day, or you can view it on the GPSA website. Thank you so much for all for coming. You guys are awesome. I hope you have a wonderful night. Good luck on finals, and we'll see you on the 4th.
Thanks, Ainsley.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Ainsley. Thank you,
Thanks,
everyone.
Ainsley.
Take care.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.